Let's go to Kyle in Manchester, New Hampshire. What's up, Kyle?
Hey, John. Thanks for taking my call.
You too,
I just
brother.
want to say you're amazing, and can't believe I'm talking to you.
I think you're correct. I'm just kidding. I don't think you're very amazing, but hey, I am happy to be talking with you, brother. Hey, what's up, man? How can I help, dude?
So my question is, I don't know if I'm an alcoholic or if I have boundary issues, and I think it's that I have boundary issues and the alcohol is more of a habit, but you're the person that can probably help me figure it out.
Cool, man. So thanks for the trust here. What's bringing you, what's making you ask this question?
I mean, I drink quite a bit. And
how much do you drink?
Daily or 5 times a week, quite a bit.
How much when you drink?
I'd say I never have way too much to drink, but I'm also not the person that has 1 to 2 drinks. Like, I never black out or anything, but I drink almost to get drunk. If I'm going to drink, I drink to get drunk.
So you get buzzed or drunk 4 to 5 times a week, 6 to 7 times a week?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, you got a problem.
Okay.
Absolutely. 100%.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you drink so much, man? Why do you think why you have boundary challenges?
And I guess that's, the old saying, you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with most. And that's why I'm thinking of the boundary side of it, is because everyone that I'm around all the time is drinking. Everything involves drinking, whether it's family members, family gatherings, friends, whatever like that. So
tell me about these boundaries, though. Is it boundaries meaning you can't say no, or you don't want to say no, or are you saying and doing things that you wish you weren't saying and doing, and the common denominator there is alcohol?
Yeah, it's kind of both. Like, I'll say I'm going to stop drinking after the family barbecue, but then the family barbecue comes and I don't drink for a week or 2, and then before I know it, the people that I typically hang out with are calling me, and one of the biggest people is my brother-in-law. Mm-hmm. And I've been with my wife for 10 years now, but when she was 21 and I was 22 and my brother-in-law was 19, their mother passed away from suicide. And so since then, my wife wants to be close with her brother, and she's worked on all her feelings and things like that, but he hasn't. Sure. And him and I have become extremely good friends. So it's kind of like, am I doing it out of the guilt that I feel for, I know that he's going to be at home drinking alone if I don't hang out with him. So I say yes to hanging out with him, even though I've committed to myself that I'm not going to be drinking as frequently.
Okay. And
so that's that's the boundary side of it.
Okay. Well, man, the fact that you've thought through it this deeply is really, really incredible. Good for you, man. Okay.
Thank you.
So backing out a little bit, alcohol use disorder. I'm using I got mostly a hate relationship with the DSM. But hey, James, put a thing down. We need to do a whole thing on the DSM one day. It's the psychiatric manual that helps diagnose people. Alcohol use disorder, out of the DSM-5. It's a problematic pattern of drinking, and it can be a number of different things. Usually they want you to have 2 or 3 of these things. But if you've tried to quit over a period of time and you keep falling back into it, drinking for longer than you want to, right? Having a strong desire or urge, it's about 3 o'clock, and you're like, dude, I just need to get done with work so I can go have a beer, or 2 or 3, right? If you find yourself, have you just started skipping stuff? Hey, we need to get to work. I'm good, or I'm pretty hungover, or sounds like you're a social drinker that drinks too much, but that you can scratch and claw your way through the next morning. Is that about right?
And I would say I don't skip things, but like the family barbecues, for example, everyone there, or a lot of the people there, are going to be drinking. So
Okay.
I go and drink there, and I don't skip it, and I don't lay in bed all day or anything like that. I get stuff done that I need to, but I find myself drinking when I do it.
Okay. And what benefit do you get from it?
Honestly, I think that's my biggest thing. Is like, I was listening to the call from August 30th with the woman that was talking about how to have fun without drinking, but I don't even do it for the fun of drinking. It's kind of like, and that's why I'm like, I'm doing work around the house, so I'm going to have a few drinks, you know?
Is there stuff that this helps you numb from?
I would say yes. I took that ACEs test that you talk about.
Yep.
And I took it 3 times because some of the questions were like, I don't know if that is exactly what had happened, but my score was 3 to 5 on that. I got 3, 4, and a 5, depending on which one I took, like which time.
And hopefully you read enough around there that once you get into 4 and 5, you're talking about a physiology that's different. Your body works differently because of some of the challenges you've experienced, right?
Yeah.
And when your body's running hot, here's the thing about alcohol, dude, it works, right? It works.
Mm-hmm.
It does slow some of that stuff down, or it makes some of those mundane behaviors, the ones that don't feel reactive, it makes you can get through them, makes them a little lighter for a while, right? So you probably know this, but I don't, but I'm going to say it anyway. I wonder if you know how good your life would be with a full night of sleep without alcohol involved. Waking up, opening your eyes, and smiling when you wake up. Feeling light when you wake up. No headaches, no backaches, no knee hurting, nothing like that. Just waking up and popping up. Or what it's like to sleep with your wife of 10 years with no alcohol. Just y'all are madly, giggly in love with each other, and you're out somewhere, and one thing leads to another, That's probably been a long time. Am I right?
Right.
So here's the thing. Quitting drinking will cost you almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to sugarcoat it for you. It'll cost you some family barbecues. People will say, "Oh, look at Kyle, fancy pants Kyle," right? That will happen.
Right.
It will cost you relationships. Kyle sold out, dude. Kyle sucks. He won't even drink. He's so goody two. All that, right? That will happen.
Yeah.
And it will be hard. Your brother-in-law, who you love, if you really love him, it'd be awesome conversation to say, "Hey, we drink too much, and I'm gonna stop, and I want you to come with me on this."
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell him how, if he's your great friend, like you said he is, you can talk about your past and say, "I got to heal from some of this stuff." You can look him in the eye and say, you got to deal with your mom, and we'll walk alongside you, but we got to deal with this. And I love your sister, love your family, but we can't go down this road. And here's the thing. He's got to make his hard decision on his own. And he may not choose sobriety. He may not choose peace. He may not choose healing. He may choose a further trip down the rabbit hole. Right?
Right.
Whew. What are you in for, man?
I mean, like my wife and I have talked before, and, we've stopped drinking for 1-2 months, even over COVID through the holidays and everything. Mm-hmm. And I felt great. And it's almost, I was thinking about right before I got on with you, and it's almost like my identity is tied into drinking.
That's right. So the two things you got to change is your identity and your environment. Okay.
And with the environment, that's, I think, where the boundaries is so hard, because growing up, I never had real friends or anything. Mm-hmm. It was always people that would steal from each other and, things like that. But now my group is family. So those boundaries, I feel like, I don't talk to anyone that I grew up with, but now the boundaries that I have to make are with, the family, you know?
Yeah. And dude, that's what I say. It's going to cost you a lot.
Yeah. And is that like something I just need to accept? And, you know, I know it's for the best, but.
Yeah, it's so here's a couple things you can do. Number one, know that you can't do this by yourself. You can't just white knuckle your way through this because it's going to cost you so much. It's going to cost you relationships. Your brain is going to scream for you to reconnect with people who are in your gang. And so you're going to be fighting alcohol on one side of the equation, right? The actual chemical dependency part. You're also going to be fighting the dopamine pain balance. Dopamine is about anticipation. And the moment, think of it like I heard it the other day, which I just loved from Andrew Huberman. He's a Stanford professor. He's brilliant and wonderful, but it's a teeter-totter. And the moment that dopamine, it's about anticipation, it feels good. The moment you have that first drink, it overcorrects with the pain part. Think of it as a teeter-totter. And you literally get a pain, your body feels pain, and that's what makes alcohol so awesome, is you cover it up. And then the moment it's over, thing starts to re-regulate itself. So takes 30 days of nothing to get the chemical part through, right? And at the same time, you have to create a new identity. And the way I've done this in my life is backing way the heck out, getting 1, 2, 3 people around me and to say, I'm a guy who takes care of their body. Not a guy who snap into a Slim Jim. I do this workout. I'm a guy who takes care of his body. And that has things that informs sleep. That informs alcohol intake. That informs how I deal with anger. That informs how I exercise, right? That means some days I take days off because I'm exhausted. Because I'm a guy who takes care of my body, not a guy who can do 500. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And some guys, which I love, their identity is, I'm the fun guy at the party. I'm the guy who always shows up, no matter what. And that's going to be a hard identity shift for you. And so whether it's your wife, I would challenge you to get somebody else, whether that's a friend, whether that's an AA meeting, whether that's a counselor. Those aren't for everybody. Because of your ACEs stuff, I think seeing a counselor would be awesome if you can afford it. I think that would be great. But walking through, I need to deal with some of this childhood stuff. At the same time, I'm going to abstain. And me and my wife, we've done it for 1 month. We've done it for 2 months. I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to have some hard conversations with my current gang. My hope, here's my dream. And dude, this is a fantasy. This is like unicorns and rainbows and ponies, right? Is that you would be able to sit down with your brother-in-law and say, hey, dude, we got to stop. We got to find different things. Let's become runners. I don't know what the thing, I don't know what the thing is. Let's become guys who smoke cigars together and go for walks, whatever the thing is, right? But we got to stop drinking. And that means I got to go see somebody. You got to go see somebody. My dream is, my mythology for you is, and your family, is that you could call the folks to get together for the barbecue and say, hey, everybody, we drink too much. Like, I love you guys, and I've got to start taking care of my body. You got little ones?
No, okay. Not yet.
Are they in the cards or no?
Yeah, they are. Just hasn't happened yet.
Okay, awesome. So think about this as you're a guy who thinks generationally, you're not a guy who thinks hourly.
Right.
And so you can start changing your heart and mind and behavior now because you are going to be responsible for hearts and minds tomorrow. It's wisdom. Right.
Yeah. And I completely agree because I grew up with my dad being an alcoholic. But he's been going strong sober for, I think, 7 years now. So I saw the change he made. So I know that's what I want,
Have you thought about calling him and saying, Dad, I drink too much and it's time for me to stop? Can we talk?
Yeah. I've talked to him about it before, and I have gone to a couple of AA meetings with him as support and just to check it out. But because of those times I've been able to stop for a month or two, I'm like, well, I know I can do it on my own. All I can hear is Dave Ramsey in my head saying, just decide.
Yeah.
Just decide.
Here's the thing. There is just decide. And part of deciding is knowing what you can and can't do by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's true.
So I'm just going to decide to start training for a marathon tomorrow. Awesome. That means I got to get a coach because I don't know what I'm doing. Or that means I got to get 2 guys to run with me because I know that I'm going to need some people in my life, right? So just decide doesn't mean you're all on your own and it's all you. Just decide means I'm going to do some major things. I'm going to decide today I'm going to be a better dad and a better husband. That means I got to deal with my trauma. That means I got to go talk to a counselor or a pastor that I trust or a close buddy that's been through this before that can walk through this with me. I'm going to have to get on the internet resources and surround myself with fill in the blank, right? So just decide isn't a flex, it's a submission. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
So let me tell you this. My greatest dream for you, brother, is that you can sleep. You can just go to bed. My greatest dream is that you look at the work your dad has done that leaned into the work you're going to do so that your kids will never know. They'll never know. You got both of it, right? You grew up in the home of an alcoholic, which is his own mess, and your dad's done some hard work. Your kids won't even know what that was. That's legacy, right? And I don't want to sugarcoat this. This is going to change everything for you. Everything. And it'll be worth it.
I know it will be worth it. Yeah.
Tell me out loud, I'm Kyle and I'm worth it.
I'm Kyle and I'm worth it.
And my wife is too.
And my wife is too.
And my grandkids that aren't even born yet, they are too.
And my grandkids that aren't even born yet, they are too.
That's hero, brother. That's hero.
Yeah.
Got it. Do you believe that?
Yeah, I do. And I one of, if you have time for one more thing or a couple more things.
We're up against the clock, so one more real quick one.
Okay. So I try to stay off by retreat to take care of myself and stuff, but it seems like something always comes up, like a family birthday or something. Do I just stay home and let my wife go, or, That's
where once you make this decision, and once you set up the parameters of what that's going to look like, AA is not for everybody. It may not be for you. Maybe counseling is. Maybe joining a running group is, right? There's several other options there. What I want you to do is I want you and your wife to back out and create a world that you don't have to hide from.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to create a world where you can deal with the mundane and the uncomfortable and the childhood trauma. And when your body sets off, you can stop and go, what is that about? That happened to me this weekend. I worked out way too hard. I ate way too less and way too little. And I was in the middle of a traffic jam. And I started thinking of stuff from years ago. And my heart took off on me. And then I started laughing and said, what are you doing? Right? It still happens. But now I've got some tools to deal with it. And I didn't have to pull over and go get gummy candy. Let's go get gummy candy, kids, and ice cream. Or I didn't have to go stop over and have a drink or what. I was able to just deal with it and then move on. Okay? You can do that. It's taken a lot of work, but you can do that. Okay. I want you and your wife to create a world that you don't have to hide from. I want you and your wife to create a world together, co-create this where y'all laugh and have fun, and it's an adventure, and it's exciting. And you can deal with the mundane together. And there's no alcohol in your house, period. That's about the environment. And you got to get a gang. You got to get a couple of people, whether it's somebody from work, whether it's somebody from your local church, whether it's somebody in a bowling league. Well, bowling, man, there's nothing else to do when you're bowling except drink. But whatever that is. And then you got to have a hard conversation with your brother-in-law. Then you got to have a hard conversation with your family. But do it in that order. Because if you just run out there and say, I'm not going anymore, that's rejection to them. That's rejection to you. You don't have anything to fall back on. You'll be drinking by the end of the afternoon alone.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So do it the right way and don't ghost people. It will be hard, but part of who you are and your new identity, which is I'm a guy who loves his family. I'm a guy who tells the truth. I'm a guy who takes care of his body. Part of that, I'm a guy who loves his wife. I'm a guy who loves kids that aren't even born yet. Part of that will be truth-telling. And when you tell the truth and you have hard conversations, you will find yourself get stronger and stronger. And you're going to need it because they're going to reject you and they're going to get pissed off at you. Or maybe, just maybe, just maybe, they're going to get a tear in their eye and say, so grateful somebody finally said something. Thank you so much. Maybe. Probably not, but maybe. And you're both cursed with a father who's an alcoholic and blessed with a father who's 7 years sober. Call him and say, I can't do this by myself anymore. And I'm ready to make some changes. Tell your wife that today too. Tell your wife that today too. If you're struggling with alcohol, which a lot of people are, there's freedom on the other side of it. It's a lot of work and it's going to cost you almost everything. And it is worth it. You are worth it.